Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Select men have issues too. And you know what? This was inspired because it's funny, right? I had someone who commented on my competition is the name of the game video, right? And that probably a lot of dudes didn't get the idea that I guess they got the idea, but they say they wouldn't compete for women and all of that shit, right? And my position, and I stick with it, you compete even if you ain't actively doing it, because women are constantly comparing each other, right? But one dude, recent comment on it said, well, alphas don't compete for women. And I told him that was some bullshit. Yeah, they do. That's why they alphas, right? And y'all know I don't like that. I'm using that term for reference. But trust me, and I ain't talking about a social alpha. I'm talking about a sexual alpha, because he's competing even if he's not actively doing it, because the women to even elevate him to that. Like a sexual alpha, you can think you the man all you want, but like you can become a social alpha on your own. It don't matter what the woman think. But a sexual alpha, women decide that, whether y'all like it or not, because they choose who they gonna fuck. And what's women doing all the time, right? What women are doing all the time is comparing like men with each other. Then that's it. And we do the same thing with women. Even though you got a lot of women who think they're alpha and kicking ass, we think it's something else, right? But this ain't really about that. But one of the things I got from, that statement, and that's not the first one. I've had a lot of people say stuff like that, is that people think once they reach the pinnacle, once they become the alpha, or as I'd like to say, the select man, everything will be all right. It'll just be hokey-dory heaven and everything, and they'll just got pussy lined up. Fellas, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. Select men got issues too. Now, in my book, Nice Guys and Players, if people remember the back cover, I said, are you a nice guy who can't get any women? But also say, are you a player who can get all the women you want? You can get all these women, but you can't get the one you want. Now, I'm going to tell you a story, and I told this story I know I've told this story in a video before, because this is one of my favorite instances, right? And I definitely told it in my book, A Player's Eyes. Like, one of my favorite this dude was just on some other level. I remember I was doing a book signing, and all of a sudden it was almost like you heard the music. And I was there with my co-parent at the time, right? You heard the music. Right? You heard the music, and all of a sudden it was almost like a spotlight was on this dude. It was this Hispanic dude, right? And in our mind, we called him Rico Suave. This dude, his hair was right, had a nice body build, had like a silk shirt on. I mean, he looked like the stereotype Latin lover. And I remember he came up, picked up my book, looked at the back. Now he said, now this is who I am. I can get every woman except the one I really want. I was like, man, that dude was just thorough. But he said it. And that's a lot of dudes, right? Every dude, look, I don't care how many women you got. There's always some woman ain't feeling, right? There's always some women ain't feeling you. And I'm going to take it deeper. All select really means is that she's giving you a chance to take it further. That's it. They don't automatically, if a woman, women choose in the first few seconds, in most cases. They either choose in the first few seconds, or if you're in a position to get to know them, sometimes you can get to know them, but even then, they still making a choice, right? Just because they choose don't mean it's heaven. All they doing is opening the door. That's it. They don't just decide. They can look at a man and say he can get it, right? He can get it, but there's still ways for him to fuck it up. And that's usually what a lot of dudes do. Even if they so-called alpha or select, whatever you want to do. It happens because you ultimately don't know what turns that woman on. And you could do something. She might be like, oh, damn, he was cute until he opened his mouth, you know? And when I say by that, it don't mean it's necessarily lame, but you could say something that turns off. You could be a different political thing from her, right? Or just a philosophical thing, different religion. It could be anything, you know? That's why when people talk about that whole looks, money, and status thing, I'm like, please. Well, okay, well, what about their religion? What about their class level? You know? You might look good, but if you different religion or something, I know plenty of women who are hardcore Christians. And if that dude ain't talking about his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, they ain't giving him any play no matter how fine he looked to him. Or I've met Muslim women or Jewish women. They ain't messing with somebody unless they the same religion. So a man could be selected in other ways, but then the woman's like, well, I don't want to deal with him. Or the class thing. Like, we do not talk about class enough. Because even that whole Pookie and Ray Ray thing is a class thing. There's a lot of women. Now, I know I mostly have blacks following me, but I see this in the white community too. A lot of time, most times, people stay within their social class. Most people, more joy. I know there's some instances where, you know, a woman might deal with somebody from a lower social class depending on how sexy he is. But most women, they want to know, and especially in the black community. And this is one of those reasons why I always say that Pookie and Ray Ray thing is overblown. Anybody listening who's gone to a bougie party, and there's a lot of select men in the bougie class, by virtue of like their status and how much money they're making and all of that, right? Keep in mind, I never say money and status didn't work. I always just say sex appeal works the best. But even then, if you deal with that bougie class, a lot of times, if you can't say like what school you go to, if you're not good at Negro geography, and that just mean, you know, you be talking with a woman, she gonna be like, well, all right, what school did you go to? Which frat did you pledge? You know, where you going to grad school, or you going to med school, law school, getting an MBA, right? Now the dude could be select, but if it ain't something that she trying to hear, he might become all of a sudden non-select too. Right? So he going to have some trouble. So what all that is, he get the door open, but he still get a chance. And here's something deep. And I told this to the dudes on my Raw site. If women have a chance, some women will only put non-select dudes in their friend zone. There's a lot of dudes out there who they might not think they select, they really are. But you get women, if they can, women in general, women do not, if they did not have to have any dealings with a non-select dude, they ain't gonna deal with them. Let me say that again. If they don't have to deal with a non-select dude at all, like they prefer not even, I don't care how nice you are, you got some women out there, and it's usually like the higher class women, the more attractive women, they ain't gonna deal with it. Like you get these 100 octane women, right? These 100 octane baller chicks, all of that. They the ones messing with the high level drug dealers. They the ones messing with the Wall Street traders, the law firm partners, stuff like that. The athletes, stuff like that. They ain't fucking with the dude who's a manager at some retail store if they can avoid it, even in their friend zone. See, that's something else I need to get into. A lot of the game depends on your social class. In fact, I'm gonna do that the next video. People, a lot of dudes don't get that, right? But the men can be generally select. But if you something that she ain't feeling, right, you gonna have some trouble. Now you ain't having as much trouble as the non-select man. Let's be clear. And I always say that, like I use this example in Nice Guys and Plays. The select man, if he walk into a room of 100 women, right, he generally gonna get 70 of them going to at least find him attractive. If he's select, they gonna give him a look. He got a shot with him, and out of that, if he hypothetically could talk to all 70 of the ones feeling him, he could probably end up having sex or even a relationship with maybe 20 of them. Because select is just opening the door. She's just saying, hey, you can go further. It's like if you pull up to, like if you on the street, you approach a woman, right? She make that assessment right away, select or non-select right away. She makes it right away. And then all she doing is opening the door. She ain't saying she gonna sleep with you. You still gotta do some work. She ain't gonna just say, oh, you fine and shit, let me go suck your dick. Right? With most guys, there are some exceptions, but those exceptions are rare. Right? And even then, that depends on where they're at, the context of the situation and everything, the environment that they're in. Environment is a very important thing. Right? But they're going to have, if you select, you still have a chance to get cheated on. Because remember, there's other select dudes out there checking out your woman. And women, they always comparing men to each other. Right? You can still, I've known select dudes who had, like, blatantly, like, their wives cheat on them. Right? I mean, yeah, they had other women and stuff, but it still happens. It's if their wives cheat on them or they get dumped. Because some guys, if they in the select, it don't mean it's like life bliss and all of that. Shoot, even pimps don't have total control over a woman. Understand that. Even pimps don't have it. So you still gonna have some issues. The only thing the select man has a chance at, he gets more shit in his advantage. He got a bigger advantage, but that's it. It's not a perfect advantage. Right? And you know what? I'm gonna follow this up with yet another thing. All right. I'm gonna follow this up tomorrow. I'm gonna push that social class thing back, but I'm gonna follow this up tomorrow with why a lot of dudes really don't understand what the select man is about. Right? I'm gonna follow that up. So anyway, right, that's it for today, y'all. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.